He couldn't even rely on Jor-El's stupid bracelet. He couldn't push the damn thing any farther than it was designed for without making modifications, and Bardock sure as shit wasn't a scientist. He felt pretty useless as a parent, too. Gine and Muezli had been taking care of the kid crap pretty well. Apparently Kal-El and Goku have been getting along pretty well. Even that Granola kid wasn't actively avoiding being around the two of them anymore. Goku. His son hadn't even had a Saiyan name. Why would he? It wasn't like there was a Saiyan race around anymore. And there was no sign of his other boy. He'd go off to look for him if he had an ounce of a clue where he was. Tough day? Gine asked, sitting next to him. Of course not. Bardock rubbed his eyes. No days are tough. Not anymore. I beg to differ, Gine smiled, nudging him. Bardock glanced in her direction. At first he didn't notice anything aside from the fact that she was holding his son, then he looked closer. Her earthling attire was stained. Burn marks. Nothing that would actually hurt her, but enough that it was hard to miss. I was exploring. Did you know that this continent is only one on the entire planet? Apparently it's named after a god, some kami guy, she grinned, knowing she grabbed his attention. And it's a continent that's currently fighting itself. A few bandits here and there, nothing to really worry about. Gine indeed walked out that day with her boy, and seen something that on planet Vegeta was pretty rare. On a planet full of warriors, there wasn't much simple joy to be found. But here, people were smiling at each other. Every day for the simplest of things. A nice day, sunshine, seeing the people you love. Sure, those things existed on planet Vegeta too, but they were always accompanied by the threat of death, the thrill that knowing that the next day any of the people you loved could die. Such was the fate of a race of warriors, no matter how noble they might have been, but even their nobility was stripped from under them under the yoke of Frieza. Here, it was like the best parts of her life on Vegeta were able to breathe free from the fear that they could be snatched away from her at any moment. Aside from one place she visited, a small town on the outskirts of a major city. It was being extorted by a group of bandits, heavily armed for this world, sure. Guns, cannons, grenade. But the conflict was barely a skirmish for her. The weapons of this world were nothing special compared to the standard Frieza Force weaponry. Heck, most of the weapons of most worlds that Saiyans had been forced to invade were nothing, but this one was particularly below standard. The most they had been managed to do was scorch her clothes, which was fine with her. She had never been much of a warrior anyway, so she wasn't looking for a big fight. What struck her was the looks of the faces of the people she saved. They were nothing but grateful, kind. They had even made a big meal for her before she left. She leaned her head on Bardock's shoulder as she finished recounting her day. You're going after Frieza, right?